My friends, I want you to pause for a minute to see if you can guess this country. In this country, the average life expectancy was 45 years of age. Only 10% of the population had high school education, and only 10% of the population had access to electricity. 70% of the population lived in rural conditions, and more than 50% of income was spent on food. Whenever I asked people to guess that country, most people usually responded that it was either someplace in Africa or Southeast Asia. My friends, that was the United States of America just over 100 years ago, before they became a global superpower. The question that usually follows next is, what did the United States do? One of the best examples may be found in the development of the automobile industry in the United States. At the start of the 20th century, the car was considered as a tool or a toy that only the rich could afford. Henry Ford changed that with his Model T. He made a car that was practical and affordable for the average person, and that revolutionized transportation in the United States in 1908. When Henry Ford started making cars, there were barely any roads for the cars to drive on. In short, the cars actually came before the road. As a matter of fact, the US government tried to build roads decades before and had to abandon it, as they couldn't raise the money. However, with the tax on car sales and gasoline, they were able to raise money, and the rest is history. The point I want you to take away from that story is that the innovation and the industriousness of the American people came before they could rise. I raise that point to put in context what I'm about to say about our Cayman Islands. While we would sometimes refer to the Cayman Islands as the island that time forgot, in reality, we were an outcast in the British Empire because we had little to offer. As a result, it forced our people to innovate and become industrious. We literally created an industry from scratch and touch. We created our own material to build our homes. We made our own shoes. The ships weren't coming to us. The world wasn't coming to us. So we built our own ships. We built our own schooners, and we went to the world. Jobs are unavailable here, so men like my dad went to sea and found jobs. We were industrious. We had that can-do attitude and that never give up attitude. That is the foundation that built our Cayman Islands. They say if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And sure enough, when the opportunity arose for us to grab the banking business out of the Bahamas, we were ready. It was that approach and attitude that started the Cayman Islands on the upward trajectory. But if we are to be truthful to ourselves and look deep within our psyche, we have to admit that we have lost some of what made the Cayman Islands successful. We have gone from being the owners, innovators, and entrepreneurs of our industries to being mere employees within them. The banks in our financial industry today didn't originate in Cayman. The last one that originated in Cayman was sold. The major accounting firms today didn't originate in Cayman. Some of the major law firms that originated in Cayman are today renamed. Many of the hotels aren't owned by us, and the list goes on. Today, we have become dependent on too many overseas investors when there is much we can do for ourselves. We need to start investing in ourselves and our own infrastructure. When we had a population of 10 to 20,000 people, we had no economies of scale, but we did more for ourselves. Why then, with a population around 70,000, are we doing less for ourselves? My friends, last week I reminded you that elections have consequences. It allows those in the majority that form the government to pursue their goals and their initiatives. And those goals and initiatives must align to the needs of our people. One initiative that must be implemented with immediate urgency is the implementation of another undersea cable that connects the Cayman Islands to the world. At present, we have 2 undersea cables that connect us to the world, which is very, very important to our economy, our livelihood, and our way of life. One undersea cable is the One Cayman that began operations in 2000, and the Cayman-Jamaica Fiber System, otherwise known as the CJFS, that began operations in 1997. When those subsea cables were installed more than 20 years ago, it was estimated that they would last around 25 years based on their design. That means that the One cable should be good until 2025 and the CJFS until 2022, which is next year. I must also tell you that there are differences in opinion between some experts as to the true longevity, diversity, and redundancy of the subsea cable, and this is an issue that the business community and the government is aware of. And now you, the people, are also aware of. Building another subsea cable is not the question. The big question is, when should we build this new undersea cable, considering that the CGFS will reach its 25th anniversary next year? The bigger question is, who should own this new cable? And the biggest question is, considering the necessity and importance of communication and the utilities in our daily lives, who should own this infrastructure? My friends, at the time of recording this video, many residents in Buntown West community had no home telephone service and was accessing the internet via temporary device because of a dispute between two companies. This is completely unacceptable and compounded by the fact that many people are still working from home. 100 years ago, a car was seen as a toy for the rich and was available to those that could afford it. Today, a car is a necessity in our daily lives. 100 years ago, electricity was only available to those who could afford it. Today, it is a necessity in our daily lives. Several decades ago, a mobile phone as well as access to the internet was available to those who could afford it. Today, it is a necessity in our daily lives. The question for you, the people of the Cayman Islands, to determine in this election is who should own the infrastructure that is a necessity in our daily lives. I want to be clear. This is not about nationalization of private companies, as we would expect them to operate their services on the infrastructure that is owned by the people of the Cayman Islands, the same way they use the roads that are owned by the people of the Cayman Islands to conduct their businesses on a day-to-day basis. I want to leave you with this. As essential as water is to our survival, just a few years ago, there were elements in our community that wanted to purchase the Water Authority. I know, because they approached me about supporting that initiative. It took me less than 1 second to give them a two-word answer. My friends, again, I will remind you, elections have consequences. The Cayman today is not like the Cayman of yesteryear. We have some really cunning people that have found ways to privatize profits and leave us, the people, to cover the costs and the loss. We need people who can see right through them and give them that two-word answer if needs be. My friends, I need you to elect and re-elect people that are unafraid. People who fight for you. People who understand what it means to be innovative. People who understand what it means to be industrious. People who are competent. People who are committed. And most of all, people who care and are willing to work with us to build one Cayman where everyone will have an equal opportunity to live their best life. God bless.